Welcome to another Coaching Wisdom podcast. We have Nevena Bazalac with us today. She is founder at Lake Consulting. She has her own podcast. She writes books and she's a coach. So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship today, one of my favorite topics. This podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. If you want to start, scale, be invited to a podcast like this one. Podcasts are amazing, can learn from people. Nevena will certainly tell you because we will talk about podcasts today, but you learn from these folks. You can build communities of these podcasts, podcasting being the front end of this back-end community. You can get leads, you can even get clients of these podcasts. So podfire.com if you want to start, scale, be invited to a podcast. Nevena, welcome to the pod. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and Lake Consulting?
Yes, thank you for having me, Charles, and thank you everyone for listening. It's great to be here. I love entrepreneurship. I think I was an entrepreneur before I knew what does it actually mean. I was always a hustler. I was always in sales through my mom business. And I never imagined actually years ago, I will have my own companies. I would be an investor. I will write books. So we all have interesting journeys. But yes, I currently am a global and international consultant for businesses, where me and my team mostly focus on helping companies scale and grow. And we are very focused on helping them implement processes and procedures to systemize everything, have standard operating procedures so they can scale and grow, franchise, and then sell their business. I am also someone who is very passionate and love to coach and consult on sales and train teams and individuals on sales. And that's what I have been doing for many, many years. So this is where I am now, always learning, always growing. And I love podcasts, like you said. Everyone should listen or maybe even start their own because it's a great way to build a community.
I agree with that. Obviously, I cannot think of any other activity that is more scalable than podcasts. Sometimes I'm like, I can probably have a Charles AI replace me as an interviewer or run a bunch of my podcasts, and I would only do the podcasts that require the most complicated and the best conversation, the better questions, and the other podcasts I would leave to my Charles AI. But I learned so much from these. I still think that human connection is the back end to a lot of things. It's the back end, it's the seed to the tree, sort of. And I have level 96 on my end. That's a mastermind community. I invite entrepreneurs for free there. And the model being that we start with this conversation. And if I really like you, I invite you to my mastermind. And then we keep touch pretty much forever and we keep on growing. And the model to that would be that everyone invited to my masterminds, they're the kind of folks that grow 1% on a daily basis, right? I saw Tony Robbins on your LinkedIn profile, and that's his definition of living a happy life. And I certainly agree with that. So that basically, even if I meet them every month they're like 30% better than they were last time we spoke, right? 1% better daily. What are your life philosophies? What's your mindset as an entrepreneur to be successful?
I love one thing that I learned from Bob Proctor. Actually, I learned from so many brilliant minds out there. And he always said, leave everyone with impression of increase. And I really believe in sales, in business, and in general, everyone we surround ourselves with. We should always try and leave an impact on people, and like you said, maybe help them become 1% better or give them a tip or give value. So whenever your business is, always focus on giving value first, and then you will receive back, right? So the money that you receive and the earnings is just based on how much service you're providing. So that's something I'm really passionate about, and I name my company Lake, which stands for learn, apply, know, and educate, because this is a circle where as we grow, we become someone who is knowledgeable, because we were applying practical things we were learning. Now we want to educate others and we want to give back. And that's exactly what you're doing and I'm doing, and so many entrepreneurs out there.
Right. Your business itself, tell me about the services you offer and your ideal customer persona.
Absolutely. So we have two type of customers. Some of our customers are individuals who are entrepreneurs or business owners, and we take them through our process and my MSA methodology that we are applying. Um, and we simply help them learn how to organically build the business. And if we have time, I will explain why I'm passionate about organic growth. And develop the skills they need to have to be an entrepreneur and learn how to begin getting the customers and build that brand that's necessary. And then other customers that we serve are medium size and large companies. We even consulted some Inc. 500 companies on different areas. And I'm currently based in Dubai, UAE. So a lot of companies I'm consulting here in United Arab Emirates are actually experiencing very fast growth. But like I said at the beginning, they don't have systems and processes to support that growth. So people don't know what they're doing. They're not trained. They can launch amazing products, but their people are not trained to deal with customers in proper way. And this is where we jump in. We help them put processes in place, standardize, document everything, and then it's very clear what roles are people having, and the company can much easier scale. This is where we help them.
How do you generally get new clients?
I love this question because people come to us to get more clients. So one of the reasons why I said I'm passionate about organic growth is with today digital marketing and social media, a lot of people jump in very quickly into paying ads, which of course is necessary at some point to scale. However, at the beginning, if you're an entrepreneur, it's very important that you first of all know how to present your brand and understand that 95% of people that see you is going to see you for the first time. They're going to hear about your brand for the first time. So how you present yourself on platforms, your website, your LinkedIn, Instagram, it's very important that you show credibility and that you show that your authority in the field. And a second thing is that most people don't actually have a sales training and they don't know how to close. So to get new clients and customers, it's important to brand yourself, be consistent in showing up, and then learn how to sell. I always say to people, take your phone and look at this small device. There is at least one customer in your phone, but you're not reaching to them or you don't know how to close them. So they don't even know maybe what services you're doing. A lot of people start, they don't even promote. So organic approach is very important. There are different methods that I use that work, and from prospecting through social media platforms and LinkedIn, through running my events or speaking other people's events. When it comes to B2B and companies, introductions are very powerful because I learned this the hard way. You need to sit on a table, have a meeting with the decision maker, which is the executive and the CEO. Right. When I started, I was going through HR and they always they wanted to bring you on, but the CEO didn't know who I am. So introduction is very important, and getting out there, networking, and asking your current clients to introduce you to someone else. And these are the two ways that really work very well.
Why did you start a podcast? What were your goals with that? And have you reached some of these goals yet?
Yeah, a podcast was just for me, first of all, to give value. Like I said, I believe in giving value, but it's also a very good follow-up system. It's very important you're building over time. Every entrepreneur is building their mailing list, right? Their database. And it's very important to understand that people have to see you several times, actually usually 7 to 15 times, and hear about you to buy from you. When we understand that, we understand that we have to find different ways to reach the people. So one of the ways to prospect is having a podcast where you can share and other people will share your podcast. And also it's a follow-up system because people can every week receive something from you that gives value and doesn't ask anything in return. And over time, people build the trust. They see how much knowledge you have, and they come to you.
Right. And what's your back end to that? Do you have a newsletter? Do you have remarketing? Do you have posts? Like, how do you keep touch with all these folks you interview?
Yes, we have, of course, our database. We have our CRM. We use the email marketing and newsletters for all promotions, all invitations. We do retreats, events, publishing new books. So anything that's interesting, even sometimes partnering up with other companies, promoting them, that they're bringing value to our customers. So it's using simple CRM tools, that's very simple way these days. I mean, thanks to technology.
How do you select your guests on the podcast typically?
I am very picky with my guests. A lot of episodes I like to give value. I get approached a lot to people proposing guests. I am always looking for someone who really has a practical experience in entrepreneurship, right? There's a lot of coaches out there, a lot of people talking about mindset, which is very important. However, it's a little bit oversaturated, and all my philosophy, all my work focus on implementing systems and practices. So I'm always looking for someone who achieved something in practice and something that I haven't had before. So if it's maybe fundraising or maybe investing in real estate or whatever it is, it has to be something that's going to give value, something we didn't have before. And I see that that's the person who really knows what they're talking about.
Right. And in what category are you focused right now? Is it like folks that can help small businesses? Is it CEOs that you're interviewing? Like, who do you target?
So we interview a lot of entrepreneurs. We interview CEOs, a lot of sometimes even experts. Like I said, sometimes people have a very specific knowledge. I just interviewed a doctor in communication, right? So she was talking. She actually trains leaders on communication and how communication is important to communicate your brand to your customers. So that was one of the interesting. Most of course, people are entrepreneurs, so they're founders and CEOs at the same time, investors. So whoever can bring value. But our listeners are mostly entrepreneurs and medium-sized companies.
And I see Tony Robbins there. Like, I even see a testimonial. What's your story with Tony?
Yes, people always say, tell us how to get the celebrity testimonials. And I'm so happy you asked this question because it's much easier than we think. Every big name out there needs people who will also demonstrate results. So I was in his program, the Ingraziosi program, and I simply implemented a lot of things. I'm an implementer, action taker, and I achieved big results. And even the biggest name like Tony, they need success stories to share so other people can come to their program, right? And they want to share from people all around the world because a lot of people have a mindset, oh, that works in US but doesn't work in my country. So they are always picking people from all around the world. And I simply shared things that I achieved, things thanks to their program, and they asked me if they can share my story and share my photo and everything. And I'm very blessed and grateful because it helped me with my credibility at the beginning. That was at the beginning when I started, actually 4 years ago.
Yeah, and your background's quite interesting. You've been a teacher, you've danced also. You did a bunch of things. You special needs teacher, special needs therapist.
Yes.
Like, how did that lead you to your current life, and what insights did you get from that life?
So I always loved working with people, right? And I was in a high school, medical high school, um, and I went to study psychology and specialized in helping people and children with special needs. And I never worked in depth with that, but when I moved to Dubai, I because of my background and working with children, I started working in education. However, at the time, because of my sales skills, they put me on a manager position very quickly after 3 months. So I teach really quickly, and they're like, we want you to be a manager. Company went through a huge merger. One company acquired another. There was a huge merger, which was amazing experience for me. That when I was very young to experience and see what does it take to run a team and be on top and through really difficult time. And it was really, and I love that I studied psychology, because then of course I finished NLP and different things, because in business it's my strength to really simplify things so people can understand and implement, and understanding the human behavior and why our employees or why people are doing and achieving certain results and other people are not. And that's where the strength really comes.
And what brought you to Dubai?
I was so I graduated my university. At the time, it was an interesting situation in my country. So there was no employment. There was kind of like a ban on employment. And I was just looking for a job and opportunities. And I got a friend who was here, and they sent me the website. I saw a lot of jobs, and I said, I'm going to go and try my luck. And I got a job, and here I am. 7 years later, having a company and a team, and worked with the biggest companies in the region.
Right. And what problems do you often see in your clients, and how do you fix these challenges?
Absolutely. The first problem, like I said, people when they're starting, they're struggling to find clients. But then I always tell them that's an easy solved problem. You just need to sell, and you just need to prospect and overcome your mindset about sales and get the skills and the training. But the biggest problem actually company have, like I mentioned, I believe earlier, is that especially in Dubai, we see a very fast growth, but they don't have the process and the system to support. People are not trained, they have to urgently hire. And it's a very diverse, it's probably the most diverse city right now in the world. So there is so many cultures that we're bringing together to work together, different language barriers. So these are the challenges people have. And this is where we come in and really help them systemize everything.
Yeah, and once you have the sales, once you're in scale mode, I mean, there can be still a bunch of challenges, whether it's the macro economy, whether it's COVID, whether it is your industry shifting and your product market fit not being anymore. Once you face these challenges, what's the right mindset to have once it's crunch time and things are not going well anymore?
Yes, so they say we don't learn anything from good times, we learn from tough times. And I truly believe that leaders are always preparing for the down times. I work a lot in real estate, and I love learning from investors. My goal is also to scale and become an investor full time into businesses and real estate, which I started. But they're always preparing, and they love the crashes, they love the hard times bring the cheapest real estate. So they are ready. They're preparing their money. They're like, now it's time to buy because the market is down and the companies are closing. So we're gonna acquire the companies and merge. So I think you really have to think on a higher level and be surrounded with those top leaders and see how they're thinking. They actually see opportunity in every challenge. There is opportunity in every challenge, and just try and prepare ahead of times.
Um, I've just downloaded your book. What was the logic behind that one? I guess informing people of good stuff and providing value, having their email. You have a newsletter on the back end. So how was the process of book writing? What were the goals behind that book? And did you accomplish these goals?
Yeah, so I have several books actually and ebooks. But if we talk about entrepreneurship, jumping into unknown, it was a lead magnet, right? So, like I said, you have to give value. You have to have something to gift to people, to reach out to them, and people love free stuff, so they will always say yes. They're going to subscribe, and that's how you start building your mailing list. However, the book in general is very helpful. It just talks about some tips and mistakes to avoid and what you should do and not do. Focus a lot on mindsets and understanding entrepreneurship. So a lot of people give a very nice feedback. They love it, and they're very grateful to have a tool like that.
Very cool. What are your top 3 goals this year? How do you want to finish up the year with these this quarter / these 4 months remaining?
Yes, I love this question. So we are, of course, having the target of how many more companies and deals we want to take on. We are blessed that right now for entrepreneurs we have a waiting list. But my goal is that I restructure my business so I can travel more. Because working with companies here, I am the whole summer in Dubai, which is super hot. I had to stay here. So for next year, I'm re-strategizing and seeing how I can really move out and be more remote, or how I can take my projects 9, 10 months a year and then escape the summer and enjoy my life.
It's a good one. Last but not least, let's say that you're on your deathbed in multiple decades. What will you want to have accomplished on this planet Earth?
Oh wow, what an emotional question. I actually wrote in one of my notebooks, I want to build at least 100 schools and educational centers for children. I already start some work in Africa, and I'm building a lot of relationships. And I just think that education is a very powerful tool, and understanding how communities in different areas can become more sustainable, teach whatever it is resources they have they can use. And with now online business, I mean, with a computer or a phone, so many people can change their life and have better lives, but they just don't know how to utilize that, or they don't understand those opportunities. And yes, if I'm on the deathbed, I just want to know, okay, we have not just build the schools because there are many empty buildings, but really build the programs on personal development and impact communities. And I would say on at least 100 locations.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for adding that value. Where can people find more about you, Nevena?
Yes. So my name Nevena Bazalac, Nevena Bazalac. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you can find me. Website lakeconsulting.org, as well as our website. Podcast is called Entrepreneurship Lab. You can listen on different platforms and reach out. People can get my ebook. I even have some courses they can get for free, learn a lot. So we are here to give value.
And I am Charles Cormier, host at founderwisdompodcast.com. If you want to start scale, be invited to podcast, go to podbuyer.com. That was Nevena Bazalac.